So the second project that I would like to present you is it's a bit old one that we start on 2016, but it's still alive because we create in 2016 the European Network Against Environmental Crime, the ENEC. And I would like, and this network in the beginning really focused on wildlife crime and in poisoning, on poisoning. And some of the result of these projects and the work done by the network, I think that could be are really interesting in terms of having a European framework to combat illegal poisoning and wildlife crime. This project was funded by the Criminal Justice Program of the Justice, with the aim of the project was to improve the implementation and application of the directive 2008/99 on the protection of the environment through criminal law. The beneficiary partners were Silverlife and our British colleagues, the RCPB, the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds. CEO was the coordinator of the project and is the coordinator of the European Network Against Environmental Crime. This network has been working during the last year, but 2 years ago we decided to include the network into the Nature Task Force of BirdLife Europe. So it's a task force aimed to deal with the implementation of the Nature Directive, the Bird Directive, and the Habitat Directive. So this network has been included in this task force, and we work in the different issues under this task force. As I told before, the main objective achieved with this network and the project was the first assessment of the degree of implementation of the directive 2008, the Copenhagen Directive in the European Union. So no any assessment was made before on the implementation of this directive. We also identified the gaps on the implementation and application of European environmental criminal law regarding illegal killing of birds and wildlife poisoning and habitat destruction. And one of the objectives achieved was the involvement of other practitioners, mainly that's lawyers working with NGOs, with environmental NGOs. So the objective was to just to join all these environmental lawyers. So there are really few lawyers working on the conservationism in this sector. So so the big companies have their environmental lawyers, but in the environmental NGOs, there are few lawyers who are dealing with and working with this kind of issue. So we would like to join all of them. So and integrate activities against environmental crime of bird life. So some of the achievement, as I told you before, was, well, we have made several workshops. One of them was a workshop on environmental crime, on illegal killing and taking of birds. As I would like to address that these workshops and projects was launched before environmental crime were a priority for impact or for the EU Consilium. I mean, we are start just knocking the doors of the Commission just to highlight the importance to fight against this kind of crimes. Well, we did this workshop just, and we involve many EU authorities and expert and staff from, for example, from multi-environmental agreements as the Convention from Migratory Species, the Berne Conventions, and the result of this workshop was recommendations to eliminate illegal killing and taking of birds, with different recommendations on the assessment. For example, the need to include in the national penal law, for example, all the species protected by the Nature Directive, because we have detected that not all the national penal law protect all these protected species under the EU legal framework. The need for the harmonization of criminal sanctions at EU level. As I show you later, there is a very big difference between the different EU countries. The need for training, specialization and awareness of judges, prosecutors, inspectors. This is something that is now included in many of the projects that has been set up during this morning. Legal recognition of the legitimacy of the NGOs. So we are defending from SeaOverLife and from BirdLife that the need to really recognize the right of NGOs and civil society to bring cases to court, to take part in the legal process, in the public legal process, because there is we consider that there is a lack of implementation of the Aarhus Convention in the European Union. There is no clear the right of taking part in this kind of process. Improving the implementation of the Birds and Habitat Directive, because within that there are legal instruments to protect wildlife and from illegal killing and catching that could be improved. And we also work on the information and the need for information exchange, cooperation, and networking. For example, by the creation of a EU database, EU database on wildlife crime. So we also focus on poisoning. This was the second meeting of the ENEC, and we adopt a European action plan to prevent risks from poison baits. In this case, we have the participation from 20 EU member states, but we also joined people from EMP, the European Network of Prosecutors for Environment, the EU Forum of Judges for Environment, from FACE, the organization of hunters in Europe, and also the Convention of Migratory Species. This European Action Plan was included in the EU roadmap towards eliminating illegal killing, trapping, and trade of birds, and we think that it's a really good proposal to be included at EU level. This is these action plans provide with several actions that we think that is the minimum to be implemented at EU level to avoid this problem, because as we are showing this morning, there are several projects working at national level or just involving several EU member states, but we think that we have to work to have a broad framework to fight against this kind of crisis, and we have just promote and develop this action plan that we think is a very good document to be adopted. It should be updated, but I think that the measures are really good ones. And well, the objective of the action plan was to increase and improve the available information on illegal use of poison baits. There is a lack of information at EU level. There is no gathering systems to recover the information from poisoning cases. Work prevention and deterrence, increase the prosecution efficacy. The control of sale of toxic substances is really essential in terms of fighting illegal poisoning. or ensure the administrative actions to protect nature heritage. So it's not only a penal case, but also administrative involvement. And we also developed a study on the, as I told you before, the first study on the implementation of the Eco-Penal Directive, just focusing mainly on wildlife crime and of course on poisoning. We studied the implementation of the whole directive, but mainly focusing on their Article 3F and 3G regarding illegal killing, that include poisoning and illegal trafficking. We analyzed the different criminal penalties by typology at EU level. Making an assessment on the different offenses, environmental offenses included in the Article 3 of the directive, and for example, this crime, the criminal penalties by typology show how the different kind of sanctions are applied by the European member states. For example, some of them for the same environmental crime. For example, G is the environmental is illegal killing of birds. We have penalty of imprisonment or fine, or we have penalties of imprisonment and fine, or only imprisonment. So there is a different typology by countries. This is also other, for example, by the severity of the penalties. We can show, for example, against if we saw the Article 3G. Depending on the country, we can have, this is the map, the marble maps of the difference in the European Union for sanctioning a wildlife crime that could be poisoning, and we have 6 months in, for example, in, I don't know, in UK is not anymore in the European Union, but we have this difference of 6 months, but we have, for example, 2 years in Spain or 5 years in Poland. So the difference, we think that this lack of harmony in the sanctioning of Spain for the same wildlife crime, and for many species that are migrating from one country to other, have no sense, and we have asked for harmony. We are now involving, so BirdLife is involving jointly with BirdLife Europe in the review of this directive, and we think that this point of harmonization of penalties is important. So because we are asking, we are talking on the same wildlife crime, but the measures are really different between countries, and this is something that should be improved. The report includes one recommendation of the effectiveness of the sanction, of the dissuasiveness of the sanction, the proportionality, and many of the recommendations that I have mentioned before on the need of awareness raising, strengthen the institutional, legal and regulatory systems, training of law enforcement officials, the need to strengthen the support of EU organizations as Interpol, UNDOC, or CITES. I think many of these they stimulate the role of NGOs and civil society, that they play a key role on these questions. This is all from the bar. This network and the project have a website that is Lawyers for Nature, and I invite you just to visit this network, this website, because they have really good information, and the main result of the action that I mentioned before. And this is all from my part. Thank you.